Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Easter edition of what we like to call Some Great News. We heard from our viewers. We'd like to thank everybody sharing and liking our first edition of such great news. And now we are taking it to the next level. As last time, we took you to the Rock, to St. John's, Newfoundland, to hear what our young ambassadors were doing to battle food security. Not only did they pay it forward, they paid it back. They sent globalvision a certificate of appreciation for us sharing our Some Great News with youth around the globe. So now I'm very excited today to take it to our neighbors in the south and meet up with Dr. Kyle MacDonald, who is in the big city, really the epicentre of what's going on with the COVID virus. Kyle?
Hey, hi, Amy. Great to see you.
Yeah, happy Easter. I understand you have a special friend with us.
I do. I have the actual Easter Bunny. As you may know, he was deemed an essential worker, and he did a great job this morning. So happy Easter to everyone from Jasper.
Oh, great. So, Kyle, how are you holding up?
Pretty good, Amy. It has been tough here. As you know, New York City is the epicenter of this crisis now globally. We had our first case of coronavirus back on March 1st, and now in the city alone, we have around 100,000 cases and rising, and over 5,000 fatalities.
So how do you see the progression going from here? Are we on the tipping scale?
So it seems like things are still increasing. A big issue here is that it's really difficult for folks to get tested. So even though the numbers that I just told you are massive, they're actually an underrepresentation of what's actually happening. You can really only get tested here in the city now for coronavirus if you're admitted to a hospital. So a lot of places are overwhelmed. A lot of the more mild cases, people are just sheltering in place, staying at home, and riding it out. So we're going to be at this for quite some time.
And if we bring this back home, Kyle, given that you're from Prince Edward Island, maybe you could talk a little bit about what we're doing here in Canada.
Yeah, so that's a great question. So it's been really cool as a Canadian being in New York and seeing how great Canada's response really has been to the coronavirus, especially in Prince Edward Island. So as measures were rolling out here, closing schools, closing offices and different things, PEI was rolling out very similar measures, almost in lockstep with New York, even though there were very few cases. And you're really seeing the benefit of that now. So in Prince Edward Island, there's only been 25 cases. Every single case is someone who traveled, came back to the island, and has been self-quarantined. And the majority of those 25 cases have now actually fully recovered. No one's been hospitalized. There's been no fatalities. They're doing a fantastic job. And I think it's really showing the benefit of taking this time and everyone really listening to the experts and leaders in their communities to social distance, to stay 6 feet or 2 meters apart, staying home if you're sick, and really looking out for the most vulnerable people in our communities.
Well, that's some great advice. Well, we hope that you stay safe and strong and healthy. And thank you for bringing our Easter Bunny on live with some great news today. Take care.
Absolutely. Thank you. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter to you too. Well, now we're going to take it to our international news desk with Michael Battis joining us live from Calgary, Alberta. Mike?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. And again, we have some more great news to report on today. Starting off, in Italy this morning, a country that's seen a lot of bad news recently, I'm happy to report that the Italian mafia, of all people, has been helping support Italian people during the food shortage. If the Italian mafia can do something, then you can too. And now, Mount Everest, the tallest mountain in the world, has been seen for the first time from India. This is due to a 30-year all-time pollution low, which is really helping the entire environment around. So there's been great news on both the humanitarian front and the environmental front this morning.
Well, thanks, Mike, for sharing that some great news. Now, as we're making this a tradition, we have our president and founder and my number one dad, Mr. Terry Clifford, to give us some words of wisdom for today on this Easter Sunday.
Well, the first word is a continuation of the theme today. It's Easter and a time for renewal, and this is a great spot to see today because we're making news in New York. We're hearing about Europe, and best of all, we're hearing it from and through the eyes and ears and voices of great young Canadians, all graduates of the Junior Team Canada Global Vision program. So I wanted to ask Kyle a question. I'm so happy to see the doctor here today. Doctor, did you ever imagine you being where you are today and but first of all, deciding public health was going to be your area of medicine for your career.
Yeah, so that's a great question. Thank you so much, Terry. So, looking back now, it seems like such a natural fit, but definitely whenever I started out with JTC back in 2007, I never would have thought this is where I would be. But it totally makes sense because even back then, I was passionate about medicine and healthcare and helping people, but also very interested in economics and politics and systems. And a lot of those skills that I learned through the program through Junior Team Canada have really helped set me up well for this path in public health to be able to look at problems on a global and population level while combining that with my medical training. So I think my JTC training was really essential in getting me to where I am today, now working as a public health doctor right in New York City.
Well, thank you very much. And I want to leave everyone with this note that I think the doctor wrapped it up very nicely when he said that in 2007, he couldn't imagine where he would be today. And that's what we want young people to realize. We know where you are. You know where we are now. We'd love to see you. And Some Great News is the start of a brand new way of delivering global vision to the world, to young people, to be the leaders and be able to help the citizens of the world. Congratulations again on a fine show, Amy, and look forward to the future.
Super. Well, thank you, Taylor, Terry, and thank you, Kyle, for joining us all the way from the Big Apple today. We wish everyone to stay strong, safe, and healthy. And stay tuned for our next edition where we are going to launch how you too can get involved and make a difference with Global Vision, both in Canada and around the globe. Happy Easter to all. Bye.